We're live.
We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Iron and Ceramite podcast. My name is John, and as always, I'm joined by Shane. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
And Glenn. Hello.
I
Did the Warhammer Bunny bring you guys everything you wanted today, or nothing?
Yeah, the Warhammer Bunny didn't bring me anything. He's
No.
yeah, that's more just more of the continued pile of future fun that I'm yet to put together and paint. I had intended to get some more paint on the Nightbringer today, but I didn't get around to it. Instead, I was pulling together on my I did a tray in the background the space walls for tomorrow's game, John. So
Right, yes.
that's the hobbying extent I've done today.
Yeah. And what about you, Glenn? Anything good going on?
well, I got exactly what I needed. Nothing. Oh, yeah. I again probably like Shane. I had intentions and not actually managed to do anything so far. We've been stuck in the house for 3 days, realistically. So I was thinking I'm gonna get some stuff done and accomplished absolutely nothing.
Nice.
But I've got another day off tomorrow, so the intention is still good.
Yeah.
Um, but whether that actually happens, I don't know. I think we can. I think we'll be fairly realistic. We know what's going to happen, hobby wise, for me tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see.
They might
What
get
about
moved
you?
around a little bit.
What about yourself, John? Did you get anything? Did you manage to restrain yourself from ordering the Defiler?
I have not pre-ordered myself a defiler. I
Well done.
don't need it. Don't need it. I don't need it.
We've
I'm
got the
People
old
were delighted it went out of stock quite quickly, didn't it?
within
yeah.
seconds apparently, at least on the GW website, right?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't even occur to me to look until the afternoon. I was like, saw the article. I was like, let's have a look, just see if there is one, maybe I could be tempted. Luckily, it just said out of stock. I went, nah, that's good enough.
Yeah. You've
And
you've
then I regretted putting it in the chat.
you've got the old base anyway. Like you still run the old hammer one for a bit. You'll be fine.
But this is it. Like, I will be a grown up for once since we started this hobby, and I'll run the old Defiler. And if it performs well, then I will immediately buy the new one.
Is it the same base size? I'm assuming it is.
Yep. Yep.
It's still a big old
160. Yeah.
still a big old dinner plate.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the extra movement and all that stuff, so it's going to be playable. But do you know what? I think seeing it being like, was it 250 points?
Yeah.
That is steep compared to the 165 it currently is, or 160 it currently is.
Yeah. Yeah, 160. Well, with its new rules, 160 it would have been undercosted.
Oh, massively, yeah.
But I don't know whether the new rules are 250, 260 good.
We will see.
Yeah. I'm sure people will find clever ways to run it, and I'm
Oh,
sure we'll see
absolutely.
it pop
Yeah.
up. But actually, like again, a lot of we're end of edition, so any new models that come out now have like wacky abilities and like incredible data sheets that will last all of what 2 months now, 3 months before they then get rebalanced, um, nerfed in some cases, just because it's the start of the new edition, and then we see what happens.
Yeah. But I am saving myself for the Armageddon box. So we'll
Price
just,
wise, rumors are that it's what 165, 170,
yeah,
something like
somewhere
that.
around that, maybe 200, depending what they put in it. Because
Yeah,
some rumors are saying we're going to get terrain. Some are saying obviously not. Um, the new objective layouts might be in there.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you never know what they go for.
Hmm.
They like that they've had some examples where they've gone big on the box sets cost wise, but that was in what was it, the Horus Heresy,
Yeah,
where the Saturnine box was that 200? I think that was
yeah,
quite
something like that.
pricey. But again, that was just a load of plastic, right? There was lots and lots of Saturnine Terminators and things like that.
Yeah,
Um, Whereas I think this one would be as you said, you never know what you're going to get in there. If they put, things like the land speeder and like the new orky looking stuff in there, like vehicle-y stuff in there, then maybe
Yeah,
it could be pricey.
yeah,
I feel like I don't know whether they would. I feel with the terrain side of it, they will absolutely have a terrain set, whether it's objectives or whatever. Like it'll be called Armageddon objectives or whatever it is. But I feel like they would sell that separately, just because they can get everyone to double dip then.
well, that's it, isn't it? Because not everyone's going to want to buy the box set, so
Hmm.
maybe there'll be some in there. But yeah, you're right. It probably is going to be a separate thing. But hopefully
Yeah,
we'll
like,
know pretty soon.
well, it will be because it pre-orders in June, right? That's when
Yeah,
it's been previously, and then it comes out, what, a
end of
month?
June, early
Yeah,
early July.
something
It's
like
usually
that
about
afterwards.
it's normally even only a 2 week pre-order for starter sets, so
Yeah.
might see the end of June, early
Mm,
July.
yeah,
Hey, estimation.
But yeah, should be interesting to see what comes. Um, yeah, yeah. Will they have to rain? Well, as I said, they'll definitely be flogging to rain because that's going to be one of those new changes, right? That's it would just make sense of why they would do it.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
that's more speculation. We have got things that have been revealed that we could go through.
yeah.
Um, Still speculate because it's not all clear. But did you try and get tickets for Emperor Protects?
That was a very good April Fool's. I was watching the video back the other day, and my wife was looking at me like, what are you listening to?
Yeah.
What is this ridiculous Warhammer musical? Um,
Did she want
yeah,
to
no, no,
go?
no. She just couldn't quite believe it, and I had to
Oh,
explain
my
the
missus was up for going
yeah,
with obviously without the knowledge of Games Workshop's top quality April Fool's thing over the
yeah,
years. She thought it was a serious thing. Even when I told her this isn't real, she's like, "But do you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter if I want to go. It's not real."
yeah. It a high effort on that one though,
Yeah, it was
like real
good.
production, like proper. I was watching it. I was like, I know this isn't real, and I know this isn't April Fool's, but it could be real. Like, as in, like the level of effort they put into it, and I was like, even the bit where the guys in the Space Marine things were singing away, and I was like, yeah, they've done a real good job here. This is a very good April Fool.
Yeah. What
See,
you don't know
because
is
I had forgot that it was April 1st, so I was watching it thinking this this can't be real. It took me to go about the halfway through the video. I was like, no, this is not real. Ah, okay, I know what day it is now. Right,
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
enough. That's what made
yeah,
me realize it was April Fool's Day rather than, oh, it's April Fool's Day. I'm going to have a healthy dose of skepticism for everything.
yeah,
But like, yeah, just hats off to the sheer production value of it was like
yeah,
very well done, gents. Very well
yeah.
done.
yeah.
What you don't realise is that Henry Cavill was directing that, and that was just a teaser for the Amazon show.
Oh God, could you imagine the Warhammer the musical as Amazon? No, like I'm not. That would be a real. That's not. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily be too happy with that approach. But
You'd
you know,
still watch it though.
stranger things have happened. I'd give it the first episode and see where we got to.
Yeah. Oh, right. So where do we want to move on to? Do you want to do what makes more sense? We could talk about
Uh,
missions or what
well,
was
let's see. What
first.
what order did they come out in? Well, why don't we do the one that came out first? So the article that they launched on the second, which was the building an army.
Okay.
So on Warhammer Community, the article building an army in the new edition of Warhammer 40,000.
Yes. We got a lovely grid to play with, haven't we?
We do similar to the other thing that I suppose is good to note is that actually a lot of people that have bought some of the books for end of edition campaign that's running at the moment, all of the Maelstrom stuff, there seems to be a correlation between some of the new rules and how that's working and what's coming into 11th. So they're kind of soft launching a lot of this with the end of campaign stuff. And we'll see that more, I think, with the next article. But certainly on this article, yeah, lots of tables. It feels, and we'll probably get into it a little bit, there's quite a lot at the moment, what's been previewed, it feels like there's going to be a fair chunk of like battlefield or game-based admin.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, well, again, speculation as to how much admin it'll be. So we'll see what comes. But I suppose the first bit then, that little table, is just telling us how many units of one type you can have for the size of army, and then how many enhancements you can have, and then also how many detachment points you can spend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the unit limit hasn't really changed, has it? Because that's
the unit, yeah,
anyway.
unit. What they've done though is they've changed the unit limit for the smaller games.
Yeah.
So in the smaller games, I think right now you don't. It's still a unit limit of 3, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I think they've reduced that for smaller games to stop one type of unit dominating if you're only playing a smaller game. The bit that someone called out, and I suppose it's a fair point, is they haven't included, whereas in previous ones they've included onslaught size, so 3,000 points up. They haven't done that here, and that's because apparently there will be almost like a slightly different game mode for that moving forward.
Well, that's going to be
basically
what they've just released as well, isn't it? What's it? Is it called Onslaught? The
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Apocalypse. There you go.
Yeah.
Because they've literally just released that as its own rule book, haven't they? Or edition.
Yeah, and so I think that's the idea there, because they want to, for the people that do play it, they want to streamline it and help them play quicker games. I guess, I don't know. Like, I think I've only ever played one 3,000 point game. Just never really ever get to that.
I don't know. Was it 3,000? I went around Tom's once.
Yeah.
9th edition, and we played, and I think I got home at like 3 a.m.
Yeah. It's funny how like just that extra like addition of extra troops or units or whatever it is just slows the game down that much.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't help that neither of us knew what we were doing at the time anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
so that slows it down. So we're quite ambitious to say, let's do 3,000 points of a game we still don't understand.
Yeah. It was fun. It's all part of the learning experience.
Absolutely.
So we know, the big games are missing, and then the next. So if we go down like the table, like obviously you've got your points total, so that hasn't really changed. So 1,000 points for incursion, 2,000 points for strike force. Names stay the same. That's fine. Then the next bit down is you've got detachment points.
Yes.
So this is where you can. So it's definitely new, a new way of doing it. Is that you effectively pay for the detachments you want to run, and based on those detachments is how much they'll cost. Yeah. So you'll have, like, say, a cost of 1 detachment point for like a narrow focused detachment, so something that's probably quite niche. So I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe in Space Marines, the Librarius Conclave, which is the one that's all focused on librarians. So that feels relatively niche in that regard. Like that, so that one could be relatively niche. And then you've got the up to like free points for those detachments that are then going to affect more units, so have more synergies and affect more units. I suppose again, what we don't know is how that will actually play out in practice, because, for example, if you took your Gladius task force, which affects pretty much everything, every unit in your army, is that a 3 point detachment? And if it is, because everyone plays it or a lot of people play it, is it then, is that a bit of a shame because you don't then get to try out multi-detachment type lists?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, for example, when you take Death Guard, for example, you could imagine that what's it called? Poxwalker detachment, that might be a 1 or 2 point detachment because it's very Poxwalker focused.
It is literally, yeah. All the strats and enhancements are for units
Yeah.
with box walkers.
So then you might be able to, an idea, you'd run that like
Yeah.
as your main detachment. It might, if it costs 2, for example, and then
Yeah.
you might be able to add on a 1 point detachment that only focuses on armor, for example.
Yeah. Bit of extra
Um,
movement.
yeah, and then you'd have your blight haulers and drones in the backfield that would get the advantage of whatever that 1.1 was.
Yeah. Because then something like Vectorum with the sticky objectives, I imagine that's going to be a pricey one.
Yeah, and again, though, well, I suppose it would do because it's going to give bonuses to lots and
That's the whole
lots of
army.
the
So,
army.
yeah.
Yeah. So that would
Yeah.
that's how it reads as how it would work,
Yeah.
but we're not going to know until we get there, right?
Yeah.
But it's so that's quite interesting in terms of, and like the example they give was was Space Marines, wasn't it? So it's like, with Raven Guard, you could take a detachment that focuses on Phobos. Fine, that's going to be quite niche. So it isn't going to cost you as many points, and then you could pull in another detachment to play with. They used what, Phobos and Terminators.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Um, but then I suppose, so that's as much as we can kind of read into it. We don't really know much else. That it's just
Yeah.
it's going to cost points. You then come down to the enhancement limit, which is, so it's interesting because it means, so for Strike Force games, you've got 4 enhancements, a maximum of 4 enhancements you can take, right? So they're like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just sort of admin that's never really going to come up.
It depends how many points everything costs in the long run, because realistically, they're not massively cheap. Depends, like they range from like 10 to 30 points, don't they? But then
Yeah,
the good thing is it means that if you've got two in one detachment and two in another that you really want to use, because that's what's going to make your characters pop, the options there, but it's going to be pricey to do.
yeah,
Whereas
I
normally
think,
you're limited to 3 of the 4 that you can take per detachment.
yeah, and the bit that's interesting about how they've kind of got around that, so you would be able to take 4 or whatever, is that some of them, up to 3 of them, I think it says, they include an upgrade tag.
Right.
So you don't necessarily now have to spend them on characters.
Yes, you're
So
right.
you can, like, if it's an upgrade, you can put it on a unit. So let's
Mm.
say I've got a squad of infiltrators who you very rarely will I ever put a character in that unit because that's not their role.
Yeah.
But an enhancement might work for that unit really well as an upgrade. That can then go on that unit.
Right. I might just crap at reading things because I read it completely different.
Okay.
As in the you can take one as the enhancement across multiple squads without a character. You still have to pay the points multiple times
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You still
Right.
have to
I
do
thought you
that.
meant you could take 3 across, but like that only counts as one of your
But you pay for it.
enhancements. You
Yeah.
pay for it 3 times. So in theory, you could have, you know, nearly a dozen across the army if
Oh
they were
wow.
all able to go on units, but they without the characters. So it's
Yeah,
just an upgrade for the unit.
exactly. Yeah,
Right. Okay. I misinterpreted what
Oh
you
yeah.
said then, or misread what it was. But yeah.
yeah, because
So
they can be applied to up to 3 non-character units while only counting as a single choice.
Oh wow. You could
So
really burn a lot of points on enhancements.
you don't know how many, like, because again, it's got to have the upgrade tag. So
Mm.
not all of the enhancements are going to have the upgrade tag. So you
No.
might only have, like depends on your codex, you might only have one or two that might enhancements that would have that. But you're right, you could still, if it was a 20-point enhancement and you were putting it across all three units, that's 60 points.
Ooh, I just had a thought. Are we going to get generic ones? And are we going to get 5-point melter bombs for units? That something that
Hmm.
spend a little bit on gives units that little bit of tactical flexibility potentially.
I don't, yeah, that's an interesting point because this feels a bit like when back in editions before when you had to pay points for war gear
Yeah.
and like you'd be like, right, well, this might be their way round of doing that is to give people that little bit of fiddle that they're missing with war gear and say, well, we're not going to get back to war. You're not getting war gear again, but instead you can have a fiddle about with this.
Yeah.
What might be interesting? I said melter bombs is an interesting one. What if they did it with grenades, and then it's not a strat anymore? It's just something you give to
Right.
that unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty powerful.
Yeah, could
Yeah,
be.
for a price as well. You'd rather well that yeah, you want to pay the points for what 4 more wounds, 6 more wounds, whatever it is.
That, but they might change our grenade because they always fiddle around with grenades. Like
Yeah,
they might change how it works. It might be like, right, we're not going to do the mortal wound bomb grenade anymore. It's just going to be, it's got its weapon characteristic, and you get to fire it as a weapon,
yeah,
which is what they used to do.
Or the old frag grenade rules of, yep, we'll chuck them before we charge, can't be overwatched kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, there's definitely ways they do it. So that enhancement thing is quite interesting.
yeah.
And it will be interesting to see how that plays out. The next one that was on the so moving away from I suppose from the grid. Well, we're finishing the grid. You've got the unit limit then as well, which is similar to Strike Force. So maximum of 3 of one type of unit. That makes sense, but it's doubled if it's a battle line unit.
Yeah.
So the usual sort of stuff, like if you've got intercessors, you can run 6 of them. If you've got plague marines, you can run 6 of them.
Yeah.
If you've got poxwalkers, you can run 6 of them if they're in your
In one
detachment.
detachment, yeah, which I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. um. So yeah, that no big change there, right?
Nice.
But the bit that they added to it was the characters and how they can join units.
Yes, because now it's leader and support.
So you've got, yeah, they're designated leader or support, and the unit can have each one attached to it. And now I think the way they said it is you actually put it on when you're mustering your army, you declare it like before, if you know what I mean. So whereas now you can just put the characters in and then you just say, well, as you're setting them up, this guy is leading this unit.
Yeah.
Now you have to decide that ahead of the game when you submit, and then there'll be some characters that when they have the support tag, they can't be run solo.
Yeah.
So, for example, the Tallyman, this is the one that I always see coming up. Tallyman would be one that'd be like, yeah, he's no longer going to be running solo. He has to have Marines with him. Which then at that point is like, right, do I want to run a Tallyman if I have to then have five Marines with him?
Yeah, and this is the thing again, going back to how much everything's going to cost. It's so very rarely in this edition have I run a list without Tallyman.
Yeah.
Because CP farming, like again, is the game going to rely so much on CP? Is important to have. The plus side is you're not dropping your demon prints and one shot at me anymore. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you could leave Poxwalkers, that would be better. He can't do it at all, even in this Poxwalker detachment. So I don't know if they'll change that, but we'll see how it goes. But it's not a bad thing because then that will go the same maybe for who's your guy in Necrons who just automatically gets you a CP.
Yeah, the trouble is that's
He's going to be a leader,
it's
isn't he?
Imatech the Stormlord.
Yeah.
He's a leader, like, or he's likely to be a leader.
Fucking Necrons.
Yeah.
Broken.
I think the one that I think will be where it will hit, which will be interesting, is how it might interact with like a lone operative.
Yeah.
So, for example, the Phobos Lieutenant at the moment, every Space Marine player, every tournament list normally has, not all of them, but 90% of them will have the Phobos Lieutenant so that he can be lone op in the middle. He can have his reactive move. He can point at an objective and give Space Marines a bonus for that. Like, it will be interesting if they're like, yeah, he can only be a support character now. So if you're going to take him, you can take him, but he has to have 5 Phobos Marines with him. They'll still have lone op and reactive move and all of that stuff. But if you want him, you're going to have to pay a bit more for him.
I reckon you might have to pay. That might be a detachment enhancement if you want him lone op.
Yeah, potentially.
Or running solo, I mean. So that'd be interesting.
The other thing that I think this signals, and it hasn't been talked about anywhere, or maybe it has, but I haven't seen it, is because we know in the artwork you've got the Space Marine Ancient Banner Bearer in like on the box art. No one's talked about whether he's going to be in the box, what's going to be in the box. But we know there's an orc with a War banner.
Yeah.
I think this is telegraphing that they're going to have more banner units back, and like you add them as your support unit.
Yeah.
So you'd be
ancients everywhere.
Ancients, well,
and your
banners
Space
for
Wolf
everyone.
banner bearers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I've got my old fine cast Grey Hunter with banner. So
That's a lovely banner on that model.
Yeah, he'll be coming back out. Like he could come out the display case and run around with some Marines again.
So what do they used to do for you?
Last editions they just look cool.
Okay, fine.
The previous edition extra attack, something like that.
It depended on what edition it was, but some of them would be extra attack. Some of them would be, sometimes it was morale based.
Yeah.
So it'd be like it wasn't battle shock before, it was morale tests, but it'd be stuff like that.
Give you 10 leadership and stuff like that across. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd be able to use like the leadership of the banner bearer might have a higher leadership or give you plus leadership or whatever else it was, or allow, there'll be various bits and pieces that they'll do for it. But I think they're signaling that we're going to see a whole raft of banner type characters coming out for all different factions, and then being
new lieutenants.
Yeah. Because they haven't quite, like, we saw a few ancients come out. You had the new ancient come out in 9th edition, who was in the Indomitus. Yeah, in the Indomitus box set. Like there was a ancient holding his banner, had like the bones of the Space Marine on it. But it didn't really do, like, no one ever took them, right? Because they didn't really do much. And I think this is, the fact that he's on the box, the fact that the Marine holding a banner is all over the artwork anyway, like in Warhammer generally.
Oh no. Right. Because I'm thinking, right, Grey Knights, they took the banners out of the units and then they couldn't be run as part of the unit because they weren't a character. Then they put them back in the units this time. I'm thinking, Christ, are they going to take them out of the unit again and they're going to be a character? So now I'm going to need to buy another box of Terminators because I need the 5 plus the Ancient now for Christ's sake. So that's just, I'm a little mental meltdown over them potentially changing things again.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see how they do it. But that's what I think all of that part of the leader support, I think that's all about. Maybe they've done it to solve some problems with some characters, but I think they're also doing it because they want more banners.
I think, banner bearers anything that is vaguely apothecary shaped as well.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, chaplains, leader or support, because they are traditionally a very supporty type character.
I think there'll be support because, as I said, I think the key thing is they want the way that it's being written, they've spoken about it, is they want the leaders to be like your big standalone type characters.
Mm.
So like captain level type stuff.
Yeah.
And then everything else, maybe not everything else, but like a lot of other stuff would then be more leader. And like Chaplin is really, he's going to be in a squad, isn't he? He's going to be leading a squad generally because that's who he's shouting at. And
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
so that feels, I think that feels like that would be that way around. It where you've got the grey area is things like let's see, like Typhus or Aryak and the Space Wolves. Like typically speaking, they are well. Aryak is always in a squad. He's never like, or he's the King's Guard, right? So if he's in a squad, he's in the squad with, or he used to be in the squad with someone like Logan. Obviously, this edition, since the Codex came out, they stopped that because they used to have a rule where you could have Aryak in the squad with Logan, but you can't do that anymore.
Right.
So is it that he will just be? He can only lead Terminators, which is fine. Like that's fine. But he would never have that option of being run solo. Not that many people would. But Logan, you would run solo, or would have the option of running solo because he's like the chapter master.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. I think that's the edge case that we see which way they go. Like if someone like Typhus is, you have to run him with Death Shroud or Poxwalkers, for example, because he's even though he's a big named character, he's a support. Or Ragnar's a good one. Ragnar Blackbird.
Yeah, I mean,
Never run him
very
alone.
rarely would I run Typhus on his own anyway, because although my Typhus likes to die anyway, but yeah, you'd like to think you're going to have. He's probably going to run with Poxwalkers because his rule that he's got now helps Poxwalkers. When you kill stuff, you can pick Poxwalkers back up and -1 to hit in combat. So, and there is built-in ability. So he's never really worth running on his own as it is.
Yeah.
If they're saying in the future, no, you have to run him because these are his abilities, so actually use them. That's probably fine. And he'll be a leader. I don't think because he can't be attached to anybody else either. So yeah, he'll be leading, and I think it makes sense that he has to take something with him.
Yeah.
I think realistically, with the support characters, I think pretty much everything that's going to be a support is something that you wouldn't really consider running around the battlefield by itself anyway, except maybe that tally man, like you mentioned. But
Yeah.
everything else is going to be, yeah, they're not tough enough to or stealthy enough to interact with stuff themselves. They need a squad, or their benefit is to a squad. So I think most of them would be quite obvious, but yeah, say
Yeah.
some will be. Not sure about that one.
If they get, I think it feels like they keep saying in all the articles, we're trying to make it so you run your army the way you imagine it, and it feels like they're trying to push the lore and the fluff of it. So running a tally man on his own at the back, that's a gamey move because he stands on your home objective, gives a bit of some screening and stuff. But realistically, again, he has an ability where he's supposed to be leading the squad because he improves their ballistics, I think. So it's like, yeah, you can still run him, you can still sit him on your home objective, but he's going to have some Plague Marines with him because he's a squad leader, or he's a squad support character to go with your Plague Marine champion. So that's fine. I think it's like the banner bearers in all the books you read and all the artwork you see on anything. There's always a guy with a banner running around. So it's like that is very lore. Like you always read, is like brother, whatever his face is, got his head blown off. So the other guy goes over and picks his banner up and carries on, and now he becomes the banner bearer, and everyone loves him. So
ironically, though, not tend to be part of a squad.
Oh right.
They are like the chosen one, and
Yeah,
they're just running around with the flag themselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah, yeah, and like, I suppose yeah, because uh in the Black Templars, the Emperor's Champion, he's a bit like their banner bearer in
Yeah.
that regard. He just I think he can lead, but like actually he makes sense running around on his Todd because he's the one that had the dreams of the Emperor the night before the battle or whatever, and gets to
he's off to kill characters all by himself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought that was an interesting change, or an interesting addition to how they do it, looking at those characters. I think they'll. I want to see where that goes and whether or not it is signaling a lot more of those
Mm.
like banner bearer type units, which it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That will be something that suddenly everyone on the tournament scene has to go out and buy like
Yeah.
immediately. Like everywhere, bloody banner bearing Marines will go up and price exponentially on eBay. But we
I'm
will
glad I've
see.
got a couple of icon bearers in the cupboard.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Dust
Well,
them.
you got to make sure you get your orc with war banner. That'll
Oh,
be the key one.
he'll be in the box.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so that was that. Well, that change, that reveal, and then the
Yep.
final bit in that article was the detachments, the force dispositions,
Mm.
should I say, where you get the what is it? So your detachments grant you one or more force dispositions, depending on how many detachments you're running. That then, with what your opponent has, dictates the missions you'll
Mm.
play. So we'll come into how that works because that, for example, where we tend to play, like we will, in our example, John, we'll play the same sort of matchups a couple of times in a row.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're going to end up with very similar missions over and over and over again because we're playing same sort of armies? Well, I don't know. We'll have to see how that comes out. But the five that they've shared are take and hold, which seems fairly intuitive.
Yep.
Go out and grab objectives and hold on to them. Disruption, which is that one's got more of a question mark on it. We'll come back to that one.
Yep.
Purge the foe. That's just go and kill stuff. That's
Yep.
nice and easy. Priority assets. So I don't. Oh,
That
that
feels like killing characters or going for warlords.
warlords. Yeah, warlords might come, but that would be
Mm.
the warlord keyword suddenly becomes important again.
Yeah.
Warlords characters, maybe vehicles, like that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Or stuff on objectives could be that as well.
Yep. Yep.
Reconnaissance. So reconnaissance and disruption, they're the two that I just based on this point are the ones that I'm like, what could they be? So
Mm.
reconnaissance could be about, like behind enemy lines type stuff. Um, what's it called? The one where you got spread out on all table quarters.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Engage on fronts.
engage on all fronts.
Yeah.
Things like that. That might be reconnaissance. I don't know whether disruption is more like
It's going to be
that's
taking
more.
action in
So I think
certain
That's it.
points.
yeah,
Sabotage. Maybe the sabotage type stuff.
disruption. I think when we move on to the next article, I think that's one of the examples we've got.
Well, let's move on to
So
that
shall we?
article.
Let's jump ahead, shall we?
Yeah, so this was 2 days ago. This came out. So this would have
Yeah.
been on the where are we now? Sunday, aren't we? So this would have been on Good Friday. So
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
busy. So this one, they talk about the five force dispositions and how it's then geared toward thematic mission objectives.
Mm.
So an army choosing purge the foe. I don't get how you choose. Like, do you choose what, like, if you pick a detachment, you might then have maybe, I don't know, we'll have to see, but maybe if you have a detachment, you don't necessarily have to have one force disposition. You might be able to pick from, like, if I've got, I don't know, Saga of the Beast Slayer, for example, tomorrow's game, I've got that as my detachment, right? So I get extra like bonuses when I take down vehicles, monsters, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
in that instance, maybe if I select that, it then says to me, right, you can have the option of your force disposition being taken hold or purge the foe, because they're both kind of killy.
Yeah.
And then that way, because it says, as I said, an army choosing purge the foe will then score victory points for wiping out enemy units, whilst one opting for disruption might need to perform actions in enemy territory or while occupying crucial areas of terrain. That's fine. It was the bit about the choosing purge the foe, because it sounds like you'll then have a do they mean you're actually going to have a choice of force disposition depending on what detachment you take, or do they mean you've picked a detachment and therefore you've chosen?
Yeah, and I think I think you'd be here. Here's my list. Here's the detachment. That detachment is a purge the foe detachment, and then in purge the foe, there's 5 different primary missions, and you pick one of those, maybe, or maybe it's not quite free.
Maybe you got a bit of both though, because if you've got multiple detachments in your army, you could then choose. Actually, I'm going to go with this detachment.
Yeah,
We'll just swap around them.
Yeah, it's so weird. This is going to be the biggest thing to get your head around, because now you have your primary mission that you both play to.
Yeah.
But now we're going to be playing. Here's my primary mission, which is completely different to yours. So you've got to really like pay attention and learn how the other one works, because not only are you going to be trying to score your points, I've got to stop you doing what you're trying to do in secret. Like that's where the battlefield admin comes in.
Yeah, because that's like the one they show off is a purge the foe mission called punishment, right? So this is in the article, and it's what does it say? So start of your turn, select 1 to 3 enemy units that are on the battlefield and within range of objectives, and or that destroyed 1 or more friendly units in the previous turn. If you cannot, select 1 enemy unit that is on the battlefield. Until the start of your next turn, those units are condemned. So any battle round, 1 or more condemned enemy units left the battlefield this turn. So now that in itself is open to interpretation, because if you put a condemned unit and it was an uppy downy unit, and I'm the player and I'm like, well, I'm going to pick that unit up because that's their ability, do you then score 5 points because they've left the battlefield?
That sounds like I'm coming for your home objective. Your Zangors are condemned. Keep them there because I'm coming at you.
Yeah. Or just trying to stop that uppy downy stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you can only that one there's interesting in itself. Oh, because they will be on an objective. Anyway, that's any battle round, and then second battle round onwards, end of your command phase, so usual sort of timing. You control 1 or more objectives, excluding your home objective, 4 VP. You control more than your opponent, 5. End of the battlefield, you control your opponent's home objective. So, a nice structured type of, cumulative point scoring type thing. A bit, again, there's going to be a lot more tokens flowing around, because you're going to be like, right, how am I keeping track of each turn, who's condemned, and what ones meet these conditions? Because you can only do the, what's it called? Select 1 to 3 enemy units that are on the battlefield, and so that you do that test first, right? So who's within range and objective marker? That's that one.
Yeah.
Then, if you can't do those ones, you go, right, we've got the or destroyed 1 or more friendly units, because you want to try and get the maximum number of condemned units marked up, right?
I think you only need to kill 1 to get those 5 points.
You only need to get 1 to get the points, but what you'd want to do is, if I'm doing this one, I'm going to want to condemn 3 units, because that's going to give me more chance to
get in,
score the 5 VP. So it's then like, you'd every turn you have to run through that test to be like, right, who's next to an objective? Okay, I don't have any of them. Did any of them destroy anything? Okay, there's 1. But if I can select one that's done that, I then can't select any unit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's that bit that you've got to be kind of mindful of the primary mission. So, but that's that ironic. We're talking lots and lots about it. That's actually a relatively straightforward one.
Yeah.
When we get into the next one, which is the so the example, they've got primary mission, purge the foe force, taking on a disruption opponent. So the opponent's got a disruption disposition. So you and your opponent will have different primary objectives. Fine. You're not you're stopping some sneaky blood axes. And they gave the example. Primary mission was death trap. This is for the disruption example. So this one, any battle round, end of your turn, you get 2 VP for each terrain area trapped this turn. So booby trapped.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that because it's on the back of the card. And then you get +3 VP, which is cumulative, for each of those terrain areas that is also an objective. So if you've got a terrain piece that's also an objective and you booby trap it, you're going to get 5 points.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then any battle round. So again, another one that's any battle round. So it can be in the first battle round as well. One or more enemy units that started the turn within a terrain area were destroyed if that terrain area was booby trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thematic, makes sense. Again, trying to keep track of this. Lots of counters.
Yeah.
Second battle round onwards, you got your standard, you control one or more objectives. Fine. Easy from that point of view. And then you've got what the booby trap actually is. So it's an action, surprisingly enough. Starts in your shooting phase, and one friendly unit within range of one objective or within one terrain area that's not within deployment zone that you have not yet trapped, you can then set a trap.
That's
And
pretty,
it says,
it's not, it's wordy, but it does make sense. I think once
it
you've
does.
done it a few times, that's not too bad.
It's just remembering to do it.
Yeah.
Like what's interesting, because I've only just really noticed it on the card, but it does make a bit more sense. It's like you've got the little icons at the bottom of the card.
Yeah, I was going to say what tells you what your opponent is.
So you'll be able to use those to be like, right, I'm disruption and my opponent is taken hold. So that's the card I have to take.
Yeah.
If your opponent is, so you're going to have like a deck of what? 12, 15, 16 cards, something like that, or maybe even more than that, just to sort out your primary missions.
Well, each 5 will have it'll have to have against each one.
Yeah. So taken hold will have
going both way.
A taken hold card would have to have 4. So taken hold, 1 for each of them, and then disruption would have to have 4. So that's 20. That's a deck of 20, right? Because you've got five dispositions, all with 4 4 opposites.
Yeah.
You could also be fighting the same as well.
So probably
so
more, so yeah.
5 then. So yeah, so it would be
5,
what, 20, 24, 25, 25.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, but that's only if there's one primary mission for each one, if that makes sense.
True.
Yeah, when you run 2 detachments.
Yeah, or like if they're like, that we're just looking at the punishment one, for example, they might be like, well, actually, there's for a taken hold disposition versus a what's it called? Whatever the sabotage one, disruption one is, you've got 3 choices of primary mission. If they did that for everything, you'd then have 75 cards.
I think they'll probably for now keep it 1 for 1.
I think we'll see what happens. There must
you have more cards than models.
Yeah, which is again the admin side of it, but we'll see. I'm sure there will be a streamlined way of doing this. What was interesting is the bit that they talked about after that card. So in pickup games, you can choose a different force disposition ahead of each battle. That's fine. So every battle you pick a different do whatever. In a tournament setting, this is what they're suggesting, you would pick it at the start of the event.
Right.
So, a 3-game RTT, 5-game grand tournament, you would pick one force disposition for that event. So that's going to become quite tactical in the tournament scene in itself. And then what it says is, since each force disposition has 5 distinct missions, one for each force disposition. So therefore, that is 1-to-1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you'd have, okay, that makes sense. And therefore control the level of complexity. Okay. Yeah, and then you just have to learn everyone else's. So that'll be fine. And then the game sequence is very similar, so they've done that as well. So muster armies, that's fine. Determine missions, we've just talked about that. Fair enough. Determine deployment, I'd imagine that's going to be similar, like to what it is right now. Roll off for that. Optional step, the twist. We'll see what they look like. Hopefully they're a bit more balanced this time around.
Yeah, they're very, very odd this round.
Yeah.
They got dropped very quickly.
From a tournament point of view, just
Yeah.
almost immediately. I don't think they even played them. They just looked at them and went, "These aren't balanced. We're not going to use them."
In the bin.
Yeah. Create the battlefield. So fine. That also makes sense. Like generally. Determine attacker and defender, the usual sort of stuff there, and then select secondary missions. And that was the other change. So secondary objectives return much as the same current edition. That's fine. You still get to pick fixed or tactical, so that makes sense. But tactical objectives, one big change. Instead of only having 2 at any given time, you now draw 2 objectives every turn and keep hold of the ones you haven't scored. So if you draw, like, everyone that plays tactical now knows, like, there are some that are amazing to have on turn 1.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. That's a great turn 1 card. And then there are some like assassination or bring it down that you get on turn 1 and you're like, well, I'm not doing that. So that's CP. It's either spend a CP to get a new one, or it's going to get burnt to generate CP. I wonder if that means they're going to tweak that though. Like, and again, this is total speculation, because they could say, well, you can't burn them for CP anymore because you can hold on to them.
I think you could end up potentially with 10 cards. If you really struggle to score, you could end up with a lot of cards there. Because it says you can score them anytime. I think it's a maximum of 15. So
Yeah.
So you could end up like cleaning 3 up. Like if you got a bring it down and a God, we play this game so much. It's so hard to remember what anything's called. What's the one where you just have to kill stuff?
No prisoners.
No prisoners. So you got to bring it down, no prisoners, and maybe even overwhelming force. You could score all 3 of them by taking out 1 tank on an objective.
But that I suppose, and that's why they've got the cap in, right?
Yeah.
So you'll only be able to score a maximum of 15 VP for secondaries in any one turn. So if you had, if you still had 4 in your hand the last turn, and it was worth 20 VP if you scored them all, even if you scored them all, you're only going to get 15 points.
That's not bad, because genuinely 10 is what you get for a secondary anyway, 2 secondaries.
If
you get lucky, if you get 2 high scoring ones. So some of them are only worth 4, or if you only get the mini version,
mini ones,
you could pick up 4 or 5 in a really good turn and score 16 points and only lose the 1. So it's not terrible. It doesn't make it feel like we're going to be scoring a lot more points per game, though.
I think it. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe like because again, I suppose, with, for example, that turn 1. Let's say you did get bring it down and assassinate, right? So you're like, shit, I can't do over either of those. if you still have the mechanic to pay a CP to burn one, do you then make the decision to be like, I'm not going to burn them. I know I'm not going to get them. I'm just going to score 0 points this round, and I'll wear that. I'll take that. It's fine, because then on the next turn I might be able to bring it down or assassinate, or one of the other two that I then draw on top, and I'm going to score. Rather than score 10 points turn 1, 10 points turn 2, I'm going to score no points in turn 1, 15 points in turn 2.
Yeah.
Like, you're still going to be 5 points down, but are you going to be able to, I suppose are you still going to be able to maximize, because it's still capped at what? Still going to be capped at 45 points for your secondaries?
Yeah. So again, that's only like 3 rounds of maxing out, and you're done. So I think potentially they might take it away, because what's the point? Why would you burn it? Because if you had assassinate and you just managed to pull it off last turn and kill a Primarch or something, or you managed to get to that squad that you've been fighting for,
yeah,
you get that assassinate, it's worth just why would you burn it? If it's 5 points you might get or might not get at the end. So I think, and this is why I feel like CP is going to be a bit different way, because if we're having so many different detachments, this is quite a good. We don't want you wasting your CP on this piffy little thing that we can fix. We want you to actually use your CP, because you're running 2 detachments.
Yeah.
Have fun with that. Make it fluffy. Make this squad re-roll its hits, or make this squad fall back or something. Fall back and charge.
Yeah.
I think again it's a bit more narrative, because again, like, how many times you go, I've got like, bring it down, take and assassinate. You manage to get a tank down to like 2 wounds. You're like, now you've moved it out of the way. Now I'm going to burn this objective, but maybe actually give me a turn longer, and I'll actually get that vehicle later.
Yeah.
So I think in a way it should feed into the narrative games they're trying to push. And so now you've got more option, really. So if something doesn't work, you've got a backup, or you've got something else you can look at least. And if your primary mission's falling apart because you've got hordes of world eaters running at you, you're like, well, at least I've got these. Kill some characters, and I can hold my ground here. You come towards me, give me your characters, and all that sort of stuff. I mean, so far, I don't think it looks too bad. It's interesting. It's a lot to learn, but I think that's not a bad change.
I'd be interested. I'm looking forward to hearing more about how it's going to be implemented. Because the other side of it is because I talked a bit about it. Like, obviously, the app is going to be more involved in scoring and what that might do. And so, as long as it works in line with everything they said here, and that would therefore help with any of this admin, it will then be that'd be quite streamlined.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, so they said all of these cards you're going to get in the launch box.
Yep.
That's good. Alongside a mystery deck.
Ooh.
So could that be, what was the one it used to be? Wasn't Open War. Was it Open War? It was the one where we played in 9th, where you did have like your mission, your twist. Then you had things like night fighting or indiscriminate projectiles. Sorry?
Maelstrom missions?
That's it. Yeah, Maelstrom. So could it be that? Or is it just a collector's piece and you're just going to get like the Emperor's Tarot?
Oh, I think I'd be happier with that.
Right? How good would that be?
That'd be amazing.
Suddenly I might be back into the box set.
Yeah, I don't know. I missed that mystery deck.
There's so much, like, it could be anything, right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's either going to be something like that, random way to play, or it's just going to be like some sort of lore goodie.
I think it's more likely to be lore goody than because the Maelstrom mission sort of it's kind of similar to the way secondaries work now.
Yeah,
Got your
yeah,
random ones to that just pop up. So yeah, I think it's
and you can throw in the twist because that was the thing with the twist in this edition was more like what Maelstrom was. It's
yeah.
just the twists for this one were totally unbalanced. Like, it was that one that I still think of now, and I'm like, hey, why they ever put that in, I don't know. But the one where, all armies when they charge, they roll 3d6, and
Oh
you're like if you're a combat army, great, that's amazing. But if you're a gunline army and you're playing that twist, you are fucked. So yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. But
no.
what we do know is that next week I'm sure we'll have like loads more because it doesn't
Well,
feel like they're going to slow down in any way.
no, well, even at the end of this article, so we know next Sunday we're going to be talking about terrain and objectives because that's what they're going to be releasing this week. So that's
Yeah,
something. I'm sure we'll have some more characters or box contents to talk about.
yeah, because they haven't really done much else on that, have they?
No, well, we've had the intercessor, the orc boy, and the
And we've
uh,
had a war
boss
boss,
knob.
yeah, but I think yeah, we've had a war boss.
Yes, we have. Yeah, war boss, orc knob, or boss knob, and the intercessor. So that's all we've had so far. And then obviously everyone's been pulling the box art apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Although there was the leak, we don't know how leaky it is of the potential. What's it? Heavy, not heavy intercenter. The new Devastator Marine,
Oh, okay.
which was so Allspecs Tactics did a video on it the other day. But basically, someone was up at Warhammer World and they managed to get a photo of a new Marine that matches the kind of look and feel of the blue-headed heavy Blood Angel on the front of the box,
Oh, okay.
and it's like an old Devastator Marine, but more like a. So well, Glenn, remember? You remember like the heavy bolter Devastator Marines?
Are we talking like classic or just the normal
Just a normal, like run of the
Space
mill
Marine? Space Marine with
space
a heavy bolter. Yeah.
space marine with a heavy bolter. Yeah, that basically is the vibe, but they're in Gravis armor. So you'd have a squad of 5 heavy bolters.
Mm,
I mean, no one ever. Well, I say no one ever ran. Very rarely would I ever run Devastators with the heavy bolters. You'd take
that
one
was
because you had to, but
yeah. If you didn't have the points for last cannons, that's pretty much it.
yeah, yeah, exactly that.
I would be more inclined to be excited about that if the kit is multi-weapon.
Mm. And the vibe is that it
They
probably won't be.
come in the box, they won't be because they will be push fit.
Yeah,
If they come, what was the old, I say old, it's still Primaris, early Primaris, the big heavy jump pack ones that had the bolters or the plasma.
the Inceptors, I think they're called.
Uh,
Yeah,
the ones that came in the box originally were
bolters.
the push fit bolters, and then the fancy box came out with your options. Same with the Gravis stuff as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, we might get heavy bolters in the box and then get something a little bit more tasty in a multi-part.
which is yeah, I agree. Like it's the because I've got those bolter Inceptors and they look cool, but it is still just bolters.
Yeah, they're
And
they're crap.
yeah, but
Whereas plasma, yes, give me that.
yeah, so that would be the thing is holding on because if they did have them where you could be like they're not going to be eradicate because you've already got eradicators, right? They're the ones that have the melter guns,
Yeah,
so they're not going to be them. So you wonder what options it would give it. Like maybe if they did have las cannons, that'd be nice.
I mean, I suppose thematically for a box of stuff that's going to be going against orcs, a squad of heavy bolter armed heavy marines makes sense because they
It,
are for chewing through infantry. So
it
yeah,
would, yeah, it would chew through a lot of orc boys, a heavy bolter.
so that is going to be our Infernus unit,
Yes.
that box then.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's it. We'll wait and see, but yeah, I think that feels like the way they would do it.
Probably a little bit less ass than the Infernus, but yeah,
Yeah.
possibly. I don't know. I don't know yet.
I
Yeah.
get we'll have to wait and see. It's all speculation at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, oh yes, this person was at Warhammer World and saw this model, and it could just be complete fabrication.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very, very difficult over the next couple of months to pick out what is actually true, unless it's coming directly from the Warhammer community page.
Yeah.
I know you can speculate all you want, but until Games Workshop actually come out and say it, and half the time they sort of allude to stuff rather than giving you what the actual thing is.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. As I said, until it's really confirmed, it's not confirmed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been through this many, many times, so
Yeah.
we know what the run up to a new edition is going to be like.
It sounds like there's going to be loads though, and I don't think we're waiting long because generally when someone leaks something fairly big, Games Workshop reacts and tells us quite quickly.
They've become much better at that. When it does
Yeah,
leak, they just go, there's no point denying it or doing anything else. We're just going to give
yeah.
it. Let's just go.
It must all be written up, ready to go, and someone's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, push the button, send it
Yeah.
out, move this thing back, put that thing forward.
Yeah.
We're ready. We know it's
Yeah.
getting.
Because I don't think they've had any really big, like, really big leaks for a while. I know they had like the box art for the orc knob or whatever it was, but
Yeah.
that was probably the last one that felt like a leak rather than an actual. Oh no, what was the one that did leak? There was a big. Was that Saturnine? I think that might have been Saturnine. That was the Heresy one where that did leak, and you could tell that that was an early leak.
Mm. They must be able to track it back and work
I
out who's
think
doing it.
I think sometimes it's different things, right? So like, was it Dante? His leak was because it accidentally got shipped from the warehouse early.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you're like, ah, bollocks.
Yeah, that
That's
wasn't so much a leak as just a massive cock up. But
yeah. Yeah.
I think I think maybe because they keep a lot of the playtesting and stuff like that in house, you don't see a lot of it getting sent out to trusted gaming clubs and stuff like that for playtesting and stuff. It's all done in house, so you don't see a lot of the at least the rules side of stuff getting leaked
Mm.
anymore.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. Because they don't have they used to have that like what they trusted playtester
yeah,
group or whatever, and then they don't do that anymore, do they?
no, not as far as I'm aware. Or if they
No.
do, they've become much, much better at keeping quiet.
Yes. Much stricter NDAs.
Mm.
Anyway, I think that is probably all of the bits we've had so far, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. I think yeah, that's all the articles. So we've got I reckon a busy week ahead of us, and we'll have
Yep,
loads to talk about next week.
absolutely. And if not, we can always talk about how the Wolves get on since
I
they're coming out to play.
honestly exclaimed out loud when I saw that list today.
It'll be fine. We'll
The
see what
spring
happens.
of the Wolves.
Yeah, it was. I said I was getting them all out, and I was like, oh, like I always forget with Space Marines that you get so much more for your points than you
Yeah.
do with like the Necrons and the Thousand Suns in particular. You get nothing
Mm.
with the Thousand Suns. Very small number of units, but with the
Uh,
Marines, there's a lot.
just a question for John though. With it being half term, are you going to get one of your kids to come and roll the dice for you?
I could do.
That might give you a better chance
Yeah,
because
I could do.
having watched you game, that seems to be your weakness.
But if you're free, you could come along and roll for me, and you could play for me as well. You probably do better. But I'm only on a one-game losing streak, so I don't really know where
You
this
are.
aggro is coming from.
Oh yeah, sorry, you beat that one kid, yeah, to cancel out the losing streak. Yeah.
Just because it was the third time he played that list, it's still a valid victory.
Oh, you were going to say the third time he played.
The third time he played that army. He's a seasoned player.
Right. No.
Yeah.
I think I pretty much resigned myself to the fact that I probably won't play 10th at all.
Well, yeah, be a bit of
uh,
an ask for you to get
yeah,
in position within the next 2 months.
I feel like you would be, you know, yeah. Given that we're going to see, yeah, 11th imminently.
Yeah.
Why would you learn? Put yourself through learning the intricacies of this edition to then not do it, for it to just disappear.
Yeah, I'll just get enough of it in my brain that everything will change. Well, the thing is, though, not everything is going to change, but enough little things will change, and I'll go, "Oh, yeah, where's the guy? No, it doesn't. Oh shit, no, that's 10th." But yeah,
Yeah,
and I did learn the game whenever it first came out, but because the game that launches on day one is so different to the game at the end of the edition,
yeah,
Yeah.
everything that I did learn about the game to start with is vastly different. So yeah, I think I might just I'm going to focus on building and painting for the next couple of months,
Mm.
and then yeah, pick back up with the gaming on the 11th.
yeah. Fair enough. Makes
Everybody
sense.
starts with a clean slate.
This is very true.
Mm. When the Green Knights come out swinging, and they're the OP list to beat.
We shall see. We
Yeah.
shall see.
Nice. All right. Well, shall we wrap it up? We'll be back
Let's.
next week.
We will indeed
Mm.
see. Hopefully, everyone that joins us see you all on Sunday.
Yeah. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're done. We're out.
Nice. Very nice.